The year was 1969, and the air was filled with music that was all about love and peace and anti-war. Drugs were still big in the music. There really wasn't any dark and sinister force aside from the government at the time. Well, that and the music industry itself. It was at this time that a new and soon-to-be one of the biggest heavy metal acts to ever be formed came around, and the name of that group was, of course, the Polka Tulk Blues Band. Yes, that's right, the Polka Tulk Blues Band. That's what I said. Now, don't go and hit stop. They weren't going to stay the Polka Tulk Blues Band. They had much higher aspirations than that. It was obvious that you can't really be the dark and scary heavy metal band with a name like that, so they changed it to something that didn't sound like a Chuck E. Cheese opening act. This was when they started calling themselves Earth Blues Company. Sure, that was when things really took off for them, or maybe not. Many of the members felt it was just too long to come across as cool and dark and ominous, which is where they would eventually get to. The next big name change decision shortened the name up a bit, and they began to call themselves just Earth. I mean, that had a nice strong ring to it. It was big, it had something to say, it was literally something they could stand on and build something with. Of course, this is when they realized that someone else was already using that name, and they were like, fuck, back to the drawing board. So, Ozzy Osbourne, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward pulled their heads together and probably got drunk as fuck and debated a new name, something that would really put things into perspective and give them a direction that they could call their own. It was Butler who described having an experience late at night with a supernatural visitation in which a black silhouette stood at the foot of his bed. He told this harrowing tale to his bandmates, who in turn took the story and made it into a new song, and they titled that song Black Sabbath, which was named after the 1963 Boris Karloff film of the same name. They felt that in addition to the song title, it was the perfect name for the group and for what it was they were trying to accomplish. So Earth became Black Sabbath, and the world stood still for a moment. The name was a big hit with other members of the band, and it has really summed up the dark and foreboding nature of what they wanted to bring to their sound. It allowed them to step away from the current sound that was on the radio and really start what would become a new genre of music that we refer to as heavy metal. In a Rolling Stone interview, Geezer summed it up well. Even in freak communities, people are trying to be freakier than the other person, to be one up on them, to be better. So while everyone was following the breakup of the Beatles, some people were like, who the hell are these guys with a name like Black Sabbath? You can bet that people stood up and took notice, especially moms and dads who would soon be complaining about the devil and their kids and how they can't understand anything that the singer is singing anymore. And that is how Black Sabbath got their name.